Hello and welcome to Real Talk. We are so happy that you have tuned in to hear us today, and we have an exciting topic that we're going to address. But first of all, let me introduce you to my fabulous co-hosts. We have here Dr. Jeannie Brooks, Kim Lacey Shock, and Pastor Kimberly Logan. We are so excited. We are real women with real issues. And one of those issues we want to talk about today is mental toughness. So Dr. Jeannie is a PhD in psychology and certified clinical professor, is that right?
Licensed professional counselor.
Same thing.
Very close.
Very close, very close. And so the reason why this topic came up in the first place, we were talking about being leaders in our profession, in what we do. I do business, a lot of different businesses. And I realized that I didn't have the same toughness that my male counterpart would have when it comes to dealing with issues. It will be easier to just take things on and be stressed out about it and not leave it at the table. Mm-hmm. I didn't have that mental toughness. And we were like, well, that's an issue most women go through. And so I wanted to bring that topic up today. And before we go to the professional, I'm going to go to Kim Lacey Shock and ask you, because I believe personally that you have the most serious mental toughness of anyone I know. So how do you, what is your advice? What is your take on mental toughness in women in leadership?
I think it's a personal issue of tenacity. You have to quiet the static around you. You can't listen to what people say. You know, what you have to accomplish. You know what your goals are. Nobody else knows that. And just the tenacity, and you don't need to please anybody but yourself when you're goal driven.
But that sounds like that bad word that people call women. That you're being overly assertive when you have that toughness, when you care about your goals and not what other persons are saying. So how do you get that balance and move forward and not be just a bad person?
I think a lot of people confuse arrogance with confidence. I think.
Just said something.
Yeah, so that's what I think.
Okay.
That's what I think.
What about you, Pastor Kim, in your church? And I know you deal with a lot of stressful situations, and sometimes you may bring that home with you. How do you mentally become resilient?
Well, coffee first.
Thank you.
You learn how to really begin to lean on God. My place of solace is worship. And so I have to kind of turn on some music. I have to settle myself and know that if God brought me to a situation, then He's able to bring me through it. And I can be confident in He that hath begun a good work, then He'll allow me to finish it. But I have to remember who I am, number one, and what my assignment is. And even on days when I feel like I can't take it, I'm ready to give it up. Because I have those days that I am just to my limit. You have to be able to know that God has people around you that you can say, hey, just listen to me for a minute. And then the Holy Spirit will just download something into your spirit, and it gives you the strength and it brings clarity back to you where you know what to do from there.
I'm thinking about early in my career, I was working for this major tech company, and one of the guys I worked with literally made me cry because of the way he was being assertive, and I was in the right, but I couldn't stand up and say, well, no. And it was like, that's a perfect example of non-mental toughness.
Or did you feel intimidated?
Intimidated was the word. And, he was older, and, I was just out of college and all of that. But I hear that athletes, I'm not an athlete, so I don't know, but I hear with athletes, they see their win before they even get out the door, and they say that winning is 90% mental.
Yes,
Right.
I believe that.
And so it's like winning in life then can be 90% mental. And it's like, let this mind be in you that was also in Christ Jesus makes a whole lot more sense to me now. But it's like, how do you assert yourself without being confrontational or not being, you know? And so the professional now will give us the answer.
I'll give you an answer, not the answer. Yeah, I've really been thinking about this. And one of the things, I love being a woman. And I love everything that comes with it. And one of the things we are created to be nurturers. So we are far more emotional than the hunter and the gatherers are the men. So then he creates some women with a strength that doesn't really kind of match up with the nurturing part. And
Like
I think
a Deborah kind of thing?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that is challenging in our world, I think, because I've always struggled with that because I am a very emotional being, and anybody who knows me would say, yes, she is. And it's like the Lord has to rein me back because the strength He has given me paired with that emotion can cause me to be a bulldozer.
That's the word.
Yeah, it's a better word,
She
right?
is a bulldozer. She will bulldoze all over you. You better stand your ground.
But smiling the whole way.
Exactly.
Right?
That's right.
But I think about Sarah. And I think about Sarah, and I think women, we have a tendency sometimes to try to take control of things and get ahead of things. And Sarah definitely felt like the Lord needed her help. And that's the first problem, right? And then when things didn't work out, like that was a big surprise, then what does she do? She looks at Abraham and says, Abraham, look what you did.
What you did. It was
And it's like, wait a minute. But I don't want to be a Sarah, but in ways I can be.
Yes.
And I think about Abigail, and I really want to be an Abigail. I want to be so efficient and strong and confident, but also respectful, regardless of what's going on around me, because that's God honoring. And it's really, I think, for women who have been created with this strength that doesn't really equate to that feminine, genteel Virgin Mary. I think we are more struggled. We struggle more with that.
You know what I've learned, Anika? You said, I've learned that the other night I was on the phone with the service rep, and she hung up on me.
Oh, boy.
And I've learned just to, okay. And I was very nice. I asked a question, she hung up on me. And I've learned
But it's the type of question you ask. What kind of nonsense is
all I said was, when did they stop giving you free shipping and handling? I guess maybe I was the 50,000th person. She was tired of answering that question, but I sat there and I've learned over the years, my mental toughness. Be still. Don't move. Just be still. Because you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to call her back because I got her twice in a row. I was like, the third time's a charm, and I said, nope, I'm going to sit here.
And be still.
It was fine. I went ahead and paid my shipping and handling. Didn't even deal with her.
Be still and know, and be slow to speak and slow to anger. And I think as emotional beings, and then you add in with the female factor, the hormones.
Okay, so that's my next thing. So God created us with all these hormones and all this stuff. So I'm wondering, there is a benefit. Is that a secret weapon in being a leader as a woman, to not be masculine, but there is some benefit to these hormones? There must be some sort of benefit to have these hormones.
I have not realized that benefit.
Childbearing?
Well, Oh no, I mean in leadership, I think having compassion.
Okay.
You know, like sometimes, you know, you're going to get something done. I think there was a woman prime minister in Israel when they had that standoff at the Olympics. And I think women can go in a matter in a much deeper way, like they can go into cracks and you know, go in deeper. And so that discernment that those hormones produce, whereas I believe men are black and white, no disrespect to the cameraman that are men here. But it's like they're more black and white, like the
They're
yes,
created
no.
that way.
And so we kind of could go around and be diplomatic, maybe, and that can make good leader. I believe the next woman president would have those qualities that will make her effective. Like we don't have to hide or be ashamed of those hormones. That's what I'm saying.
I think those hormones also allow us to multitask so much.
That's it.
Men are more, whatever I'm dealing with, I'm going to deal with that. And then after I'm done with that, I'm going to move on. But with women, we will have 10 things going at the same time. Now, how effective we are with all of them.
Well, and don't you think that because we're able to do those things, then we also do have a propensity to go in and try to be Sarah's and control something that we shouldn't be controlling. So
power strips.
we have to manage our power strips well, right?
But you know, there's nothing more discerning than a woman who's a power strip. Really, it comes off fake. Y'all know what I'm saying? It comes off very fake to me. And
What do you mean by power strip? Explain that.
Women who are in authority and above a lot of people, maybe at the top, I have been in the presence of some women, and I thought, wow, you're really a power strip that you don't need to be. Like you've got something to prove. You don't have anything to prove to me.
Okay.
You see?
So then that's addressing the issue, like, can you just be authentically a woman and be an effective leader and not imitate
Be fake, yes.
a masculine?
You know, is it okay to be a strong woman with that strength, but also the ability? Is it okay if my emotions show up, if I start crying? And quite frankly, I have come to learn that is part of me. That is part of me, and it's okay that a man's not going to respond that way, and I'm not going to allow the tears to direct and guide me. I'm not going to let my emotions get ahead of good decision making, but because I am created to be a nurturer, because I am an emotional being, then can I do that? And you had started it with saying that one time, and then you started crying and you felt uncomfortable, and it's like, okay, can I allow the man in front of me to be the strength and black and white that he is, and can he allow me to be strength but also emotional and multitasking?
I don't think so. I don't think he would respect you as a leader.
Some would, some would not.
I think it would be a paradigm shift that say there's some women who are stronger than men in terms of mental toughness, and they don't blink, they don't cry, they don't, you know, and
But is that power strip?
but then maybe they're created that way. I kind of see, you know, there's one particular leader I'm thinking of, and she just has this deep voice, and she's just strong, and that's just how she is, and that's okay. I don't want to call her name. But then there are other women who are not that deep of a voice or deep of a presence, but
still effective. Yes.
And I'm saying it's okay to be both. It's okay to be a leader. You know, I think let's look at the results. Are we having results? Are things getting done?
Right.
Let's look at that as opposed to, oh, she's emotional, she's hormonal.
Or how it's getting done. Can I look at the end result, or do I look at how you got to that end result? Because we're all created differently. Even in being a woman, all four of us, we handle things differently. You know, I may be, if Dr. Jeannie is a bulldog, I may be, you know, strongly assertive or calm. calmly assertive.
Yeah, that's the word. You know, I had told
You
Kim-
are just calm.
Yeah.
You are. You're the calming
opposite
force.
right here. But it's like I told Kim one time, it's like that word passive aggressive is a misnomer because, you know, you can be laid back and be assertive at the same time, if that makes sense. And that's the way I would to myself. Like I'm not. I'm laid back, but I will get it done.
Right.
And so that's okay too. But I think in ourselves, we feel like we have to be a certain way, and then, you know, we feel guilty or we feel, oh, did I do that right?
Oh, my goodness.
Can we just be who we are and be and be leaders?
Transparent that just happened to me.
I
Can we just be transparent? And that's a problem that we have in society today, that we want people to believe that if you are a woman in leadership that you don't have bad days. Right. Well, I'm going to tell you, you're going to have good and bad. Yes. But when your bad start to outweigh in the good, that's when there's an issue. But if you, the God that we serve, he knows our good and he knows our bad, and he knows how to balance us back down, and he knows how, it's a song that we used to sing years ago, that I won't complain, my good days, they do outweigh my bad days. But if we're really transparent to help whomever that may be watching, whatever you're dealing with, you may have a bad day and you are in a place of authority, but it's okay because tomorrow is going to be much better.
And don't you think it's a progression thing too? I used to be like a jackrabbit. I had to do everything fast, be everywhere fast. But now I'm like a sloth. But it's been over. Yes. I was thinking you too. No, really, I am. And I really.
That's what a sloth means to her.
I can sit in the car for hours and wait on somebody. I've learned to just be chill. And a lot of it had to do because of the journey I've been on the last 10 years. And I think it was a progression getting there. And it was all purposeful. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we would love for you to join the discussion. Let us know what you think about mental toughness and being a woman. What are some of your experiences? You just let us know on Facebook or Instagram.